Hello and welcome to the Footy Times, to the Premier League review show for game weeks 22 and 23. This time, again, 2 game weeks. The games keep on coming thick and fast, and a lot of action to cover. So, before we start and dive into the content, please like, share, and subscribe our content. It really motivates us to keep doing this and provide more content that you like. And this game week, I think there is no other place to start but to probably start with games of Liverpool. It looked like Purav and Avinash were the happy fans last time, but this time around, not quite. It seems like that fortunes keep turning very quickly in this league, uh, except for Manchester City, whom we'll probably discuss later on. But I'll probably let Avinash and or Purav uh, rant if they want about the results of Liverpool.
Oh yeah, you can be sure that there will be a few rants along the way. Yeah, like you said, it's just the nature of the season, isn't it? It's just so topsy turvy. One moment you're on top, next year, licking your wounds, and it was. Yeah, I mean, before I know Man City was the big game, the weekend, but I really want to talk about Brighton before that because for me, I don't know, that's probably one of the worst performances that I've seen in a long time. Because for the first time, we actually, I thought, got outplayed in a way. Because, I mean, look, we know Brighton are a good football playing teams. We've discussed their, all their underlying metrics are right up there. And they just seem to have the balance between defense and attack absolutely spot on. And when they did, get a lot of men behind the ball, and they did sort of, strangular attacks. But when they were on the ball, we just couldn't get near them. That just doesn't happen. I mean, there's absolutely no excuse to have a team like Brighton come and outplay you at home. And Klopp mentioned, last week we spoke about the midfield and how Klopp had made the tactical change to bring in Milner and switch Gini and Thiago's roles, and that really worked out. Yeah, the midfield just looked shattered. And, I think it was just one game too many for them. Gini has played, every game for club and country this season. Milner at 35 years old, playing 4 games in 10 days. And Thiago, again, played every single game in January after coming back from a 2-month layoff. And I think it was just one game too many for that midfield, and they just looked absolutely shattered. I mean, I've never seen Gini Wijnaldum give away that many balls. We spoke about how good he is at shielding the ball and, not just not giving it away. And that was just, yeah, it was very stark to see how much they struggled in that game. And yeah, that was completely deserving. That performance was completely deserving of that scoreline. There was absolutely no way we deserved to win that game. And the attack just continues to misfire. The other thing for me that Klopp got wrong tactically was playing Shaqiri on the left, which left us with absolutely no width whatsoever. Mm-hmm. We basically had 3 number 10s all playing on top of each other, and Firmino, Shaqiri, and Thiago. I don't know. It was just an absolute mess of a performance.
It was more of a diamond,
yeah.
right? It felt more of a diamond to like. Not
it
sure.
was,
The formation was very iffy.
Yeah, it was a diamond in the previous game, actually. He kind of played Shaqiri behind Origi and Salah. And if he really had to play that, I think I would have almost played Origi over Shaqiri. And that just the very fact I'm saying that shows you the state of the squad at this point in time. But at least Origi would have given us width, which he was kind of doing. I thought he had a decent game against West Ham. I know Shaqiri got the assist, but I actually felt like Origi had a decent game. He probably performed better than Shaqiri. He showed good movement on a couple of occasions. He stretched the pitch a couple of times, got to the byline, and I think that would have been a better setup to go with. Which is again not saying much. I don't know how much difference it would have made, because when he came on, Origi had a shocker as well, which is kind of the norm for him, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, it was just the worst possible way, given the kind of optimism, that we went into the game with after those 2 wins. Everyone thought we were back on track. We just needed to get the 3 points and go into that Man City game, on a high and with an actual chance of, still being in the hunt for the title. But once we lost to Brighton, I felt like the writing was on the wall. And maybe I'll let Purav talk about Man City, because I just don't want to continue ranting.
Yeah, the one thing to add on the Brighton game, right? You mentioned Shaq playing on left, but like 15 minutes before the halftime, I think Klopp turned it around. Like he played Firmino on the left wing, and
Hmm.
yeah, even
But
that was like quite puzzling. I mean,
yeah, but it's the
Firmino,
same thing, right? They
it's
all
the
play
same thing. Yeah,
centrally.
like
Firmino,
they don't
Shaqiri.
have that impact playing on the wings, right? They're more of a like at least Firmino is more of a central player. He
Yeah,
can press both the centre backs at the same time using his positioning, and he
right.
just feels isolated on the left wing alone. And
Yeah,
Salah, we just created one chance that I remember. Salah's chance in the second minute that he missed.
yeah. And
And
there was one cutback, I think, in the second half, which
yeah,
he
we had one
destroyed.
shot on target. I'm surprised we had that. I was like, when did we get that? And some of the subs, right? Like Chamberlain's performance after coming on was like atrocious. He just
Yep.
can't beat a man right now. Like it's so torturous to watch him dribble past players and beat his
Try to dribble
not
past.
even get past one man, like, and he tries to
Yeah.
do the same thing. He's not even getting in good positions to shoot, which is his best strength right now. And he's kind of a player who needs like rhythm, like 4 games, 5 games in a row to get at that level. And him getting like 15 minutes here and there is not helping either of, like nor the club nor the player himself. And like one more thing that I wanted to mention in the Brighton game was the goal that we conceded. Again, Trent was like pretty much sleeping at the far post. Like
Yeah,
Dan Burns is right, like Burns, right? I don't know his name, is right
Yeah,
there,
Danman.
like six,
Yeah.
seven. His shadow should also be visible. And Trent is, yeah, it's so
He is
sad,
invisible.
so depressing to
he,
see the goals that we are conceding.
Speaking of
yeah,
Trent,
sorry, go ahead,
oh,
Shaggy.
I was going to say that Trent seems to be like the weakling in you guys' defense. I mean, he's
That's
always,
always been the case. That's
Always
always
been
been
the
the
case,
I
case.
don't
right?
know.
Yeah,
Well, or rather, I should say that he's been exposed a lot more this season
Yeah,
because
that's the
if
difference.
you Sterling like twisted him like in and out
yeah.
in the Man City game,
Listen,
and I don't.
yeah, you're right, Chalit. So I don't know if so probably Trent's worst attribute as a defender is his one-on-one
Is
defending,
he's defending.
and
Yeah.
especially one-on-one against good attackers. And Sterling is among the best when it comes to taking a
Yeah.
player on.
Hmm.
And he should never have been left isolated in that position.
That's why,
There
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
always somebody to cover for
Yeah,
him.
that's
He
why I
yeah,
should
think
not have
Klopp,
showed him inside. I agree, but he probably thinks one of Henderson or whoever is playing on that side, because that's how it usually works. And to
yes,
not
yeah, yeah.
have that, I agree. Trent didn't cover himself with glory on that one, but yeah, I think it's just we spoke about this midfield issues and how much it's
yeah.
impacting the fullbacks and
I
how they
I
defend and all of that.
I get that, but at the end of the day, Trent is classified as a defender. He is, I mean, his bread and butter has to be defending first. Yes, he's a really great attacker. I mean, I can't keep buying the argument that, oh, you know what, usually we have Henderson in midfield who covers for him and everything. At the end of the day, if you're a specialist in your position, you've got to be doing that part of your game first, then attack. That's what I think. I don't
But
know
I
if
think
that's something he needs to
Trent,
be worked upon, or because it
but
seems
if
to
you
be like repetitive in a lot of his performances.
no, but if you look at the last 2 seasons, right, like our whole game plan is dependent on Trent's positioning up front. Like he's shattered the assist record, Premier League record twice in a row. Like 10 plus assists from the right back position is why we want him to be up front. Like that's why we
As
crave
in, but
in midfield. We are
yeah,
missing
I
him.
think probably right back is a misnomer for him. As in, I think what he plays is like just his own thing.
He's more
I
of a
don't think so.
playmaker
He's
who
basically a right
Yeah,
midfielder, if you like,
yeah,
old
he's
Yeah,
more of
fashioned
a
Beckham-esque
playmaker for us.
sort of.
but don't you think that the fact that Liverpool are right now, they don't have Van Dijk and Gomez in defense, it comes down to maturity and responsibility of your wide players to make sure you provide that extra form of defense. I don't know. I feel like that sort of understanding needs to come from the manager, needs to be instilled. You can't be playing the same sort of expansive game every now and then. I mean, we are more than halfway to the season. I think that sort of you guys keep conceding goals. That needs to stop. If it means playing a little bit lower, trying to not taking that many runs, and the other thing is that he's Trent. He's a phenomenal player. He's obviously compared to David Beckham and all because of his assists and everything. But what I'm trying to get at is that is there a plan B to for Klopp? Like it seems like he's throwing in players, hoping something sticks over there, and you guys, score a goal or two. Do you guys need a target man at some point to give you that extra bit, that plan B?
I mean, listen, we've spoken earlier in the season about, we've given so much praise to how the system sort of works no matter who comes in. And that's how sort of, that's how well drilled they are. It doesn't matter who comes in, the pieces are all replaceable. But when you lose that many players, and I agree, I do have criticism of Klopp's tactics. I feel like we have been playing the same way. He's not really adjusted. I don't know what we could have done. The problem is there is no time on the training pitch. You have to realize
That's true.
there's no time to really trial anything different. And we've got players who are Thiago, who I don't think has had any sort of time to acclimatize to the system, and he's just having to play every single game. And he has been a bit of a weak link defensively, I think. So yeah, I mean, as much as you can criticize Klopp for that, there are mitigating circumstances, and I don't think. I agree that Trent should improve. His one-on-one defending is weak, and I've always said this: he gets done way too easily by attackers, not just attackers of Sterling's quality, inferior attackers. So I agree that is something he has to work on if he is going to continue playing as a right back. But also, you have to double up on Raheem Sterling.
Yeah,
he is that good, and basically, yeah, we're just suffering in so many ways right now, and. Yeah, I don't know, Purav, if you have anything to say.
But at least Trent, right? He's still creating few chances for us. Like that's what I like about his recent form. Like he was pretty much out of form in December and early Jan. But like after the Spurs and West Ham game, right? Like even the first chance we had against Man City, the Sadio Mane header, it was like that cross from Trent there. So
Yeah.
we just have to use his strength, right? Like Klopp's system is built on
Yeah.
getting the best out of Trent on that right wing, and Henderson doing an amazing job, a thankless job for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's why we are missing. That's why I was surprised to see that lineup without a recognized centre back in the Man City game. I thought starting Kabak was like a no-brainer for me. One of Kabak
that's
or
what I was
Davis,
surprised. Like,
because
why,
the pros of
why weren't they
having
played?
Henderson in midfield outweigh any cons of having a newbie rookie thrown at the back. Our midfield right now, as Avinash mentioned, right, it's so easy to go past. Like, there's no physicality in the midfield. Thiago is not the most dynamic midfielder, right? Wijnaldum is like tired, like he's been playing every game, and we are rotating between Milner and Curtis Jones for the third midfield. So there's still a lot of changes going on there, and I feel Kabak should have
Yeah,
started
why
that
didn't
game
he
for me
start? Like,
personally.
was it just because the
I mean,
City? It was a big game.
I think it's
That's
just
why
like
they
a
didn't want to
new,
thrust him in.
yeah, it's a big game.
No, but
20-year-old who has
at
never
least
played in this
one,
league
like,
was
wouldn't
kind
have
of,
Liverpool sort of gained by just putting in one recognized centre back and pushing either Henderson or Fabinho up the midfield, and like just cover up for all. So would that have been like a proper sort of balancing act? Maybe not both of them.
I think, yeah, going forward, right? Like to get top four, we need one of
that
the,
that
yeah,
has to change. I agree, but I do think that Kabak, he's had a really tough season at Schalke. They've been shipping goals. His confidence is not right at this point in time, and I don't think it was a good idea to expose him to that City team. So I didn't necessarily disagree, but I agree. I mean, we are massively suffering in
Talking,
midfield. You can argue that we have to change our style of play, etc. But it is hard to do. This is a system which has worked well for us for 2 seasons, and it's difficult to just tear it up mid-season in a season like this and go with something different. So yeah, I think one of the first things that needs to happen is one of the centre backs, at least one of those new centre backs needs to play, and at the very least, Henderson needs to go back into midfield.
sort of talking.
One more thing I was wanting to ask.
No, just
Oh,
talking
go ahead,
about
sorry.
confidence. I'm surprised 15 minutes into the review we aren't talking about how Liverpool sort of make their goalkeepers lose their confidence. Like what's happening there? Like 2 straight goals were given up by Becker. So what's up with that?
I think it's just a one-off. Yeah,
2 off.
I don't, expect
Great faith.
to make these kind of mistakes again. I mean, one of us in one
I know,
game,
I know, this is
hopefully.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Hopefully,
also
he's done
ill,
all
so I
those
don't know if
mistakes in
that
this
had anything
game,
to
and
do.
we can write it off.
No, but those were big.
Yeah, I mean,
those were like big moments in the game, right? Like the second goal sort of pushed it
Yeah,
beyond.
it
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
compounded like the first mistake, the first
yeah,
mistimed clearance, right?
and it was
yeah,
Then the
back-to-back
ball went
mistakes.
again, and then he again tried to, rectify it, and that first
yeah,
clearance maybe was in his mind,
Right.
and then he messed
Yeah.
that up. And then the third goal comes in right away, and even there, right, he's probably still thinking, yeah, I don't know. I think Allison, he has a lot of credit in his bank
yeah,
to
yeah. I think
even if he makes these mistakes again, I still feel he's the best goalkeeper.
yeah. I mean, Allison is it's just one of those. And like I was saying, he was ill in midweek, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, he's got a lot of credit in the bank. He is the best goalkeeper in the world, or at least one of. So I don't think that is the biggest problem. But you picked up on a lack of confidence. So I thought,
No, would it affect
yeah,
him? Is what I'm saying. Would
who
it
I really feel is suffering from a lack of
would it
confidence.
affect him
Probably.
going forward? Is what I'm because like you guys are already short on centre back,
No,
keepers losing their confidence.
no. I think Allison is the type who I don't think even in the game, you saw if he makes a mistake, he doesn't let doesn't let that affect him. He just keeps doing what he's very calm in that sense. So he's not like some of the previous goalkeepers we had who just, whose heads go basically and
Concussion.
they make a mistake. But yeah, I mean, what I wanted to pick up on was the people who are really suffering in confidence and who I'm really worried about are our front three. So I don't know, Pura, what you thought of their performance,
Yeah, I think
I
especially
think
against
Mane,
Man
Salah has
City.
been pretty good, right?
I got to ask you guys one thing though. Was that even a penalty?
No, I didn't feel like it.
yeah, I think in this modern age, it is a penalty.
My-
I mean, with the standard of referees we have, right?
no, I
Yeah,
mean
This was,
I thought it was a pretty soft penalty.
He makes the
And
most of it for sure. But if
Koeman,
you're holding his hand for like more than 2 seconds in the box, I think you're inviting the.
he's through on goal, yeah.
But he
And he gets absolutely pulled and wrestled with most of the time, and he gets nothing for it. So I mean, I don't know.
law of averages.
The only difference is he went down
But
this
then
time.
the ball,
law
but
of
the ball
averages.
was like I didn't feel it was a penalty because I thought ball had already sort of left his path and it might. I mean, yeah, I also thought it was a soft penalty with all the bad decision that Liverpool.
Of
Yeah,
course, it was soft, but that's just how the game is refereed nowadays. I think that's
Yeah,
9 times out of 10 that's going to be given. So
with
Yeah.
that being
that's true.
said, he has equaled Bruno's record of penalties. So it's no longer Bruno Fernandes. It has to. You need to come up with some sort of acronym for Salah also.
yeah, I think we have other things on our mind right now, but sure. I think it's up to rival fans to do that.
So
But
coming
yeah,
back to
I mean,
the front three's form, right? I think Mane missing the first midweek game, right, against Brighton, he still looked quite unfit for me. Like he was not making those runs, direct runs. So one example was right in the second minute itself, Ederson gave the ball away to Mane. And Mane, instead of
right.
trying to go through or trying to make a pass to Salah or Firmino, he makes the safe option to Genie.
Yeah.
Genie also has some space. Instead of driving through, making the run, he makes again a safe option to Henderson, and we are back at the halfway line when the
Exactly.
gift is given to us. So no one is willing to take that risk. No one is willing to drive in, run with the ball. Everyone is scared. Everyone is looking at each other. Hey, we shouldn't make a mistake. We shouldn't make a mistake. That's the mindset I feel we are going in the game right now, and that has to change. I think that will change if we get in new bodies. Like that's why I believe we should start both the centre backs. I want to see Fabinho and Henderson in midfield with Thiago because I feel Fabinho and Henderson, right? They'll offer the protection that the current midfield is not offering these guys. They have a great sense of danger, Fabinho and Henderson both. I think we are not using Henderson's main strength, his stamina, right? Like he can run in
Yeah, up and
attack,
down the
in
field.
defense all the time, like the entire game. He can track back, he can provide attacking impetus also. So yeah, if I were Klopp, I would just throw both of them. Like we can't do anything wrong here. Like we are in our worst form. There's something has to change. I feel yeah, both of them, and like because Genie needs a rest. Like Milner is still like as you said, 35. He can't play 3 games in a week. And Kaita, he's building his match fitness. So once Kaita is ready, then we can go back to one of these two in the centre back positions. But
Yeah.
right now,
Would a,
like, all
would
I'm
a
caring
Foden
about is the
change?
Leipzig game. I don't even care about the Leicester game now. Like, we
Would a
need to
formation change help
somehow.
you?
But top four is absolutely critical. So yeah, I mean, it's a good point you made. I felt that too. Like, I think they're just petrified of getting counter-attacked because you see the difference, right? When we gave the ball away to City, how they swarmed forward, how many people that committed to the attack.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this Liverpool team was known for that, for the numbers we commit in attack, for the speed at which we attack, for the desire that all these players show in streaming forward when we win the ball. And to see this, it's like a shadow of what we used to. Like you said,
Yeah,
every time they just take the safe option. Like
Yeah.
there is
that's true.
absolutely no accountability. Nobody is ready to take responsibility and make something happen. I don't know if they're just tired, there's lack of confidence, they're afraid of what's behind them, or it's just probably a combination of all of it. But
But
that part is really concerning for me.
yeah, one thing I wanted to mention about the Liverpool and the City game, especially, it was it was a weird game in a sense because one team did not have any center backs and one team did not have any strikers, and it was like how is it like I think Gundogan was pretty much playing a false nine. If like that is how at least I saw it.
Foden was, but yeah,
Foden
it was
was,
very fluid. So yeah.
And like without KDB, I just feel like Gundogan has become like a completely different player. As in, like I think him given, I just feel that he finally has been given that freedom to just express himself and be wherever he wants to be, and not be as disciplined as he would have to be otherwise. And also Foden, oh my, that goal,
Yeah,
oh my
that goal
God,
was
was
pretty
brilliant.
amazing.
It was
Like
incredible.
the way he hit it.
He,
Yeah.
Came from
as in, yeah, I just feel that City definitely has to be given their due credit as well in the game.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
As in
absolutely.
they were just phenomenal throughout the pitch. There was barely any weak links, and they definitely smelled blood and went for it.
You know what I thought? I mean, there's been a lot of talk of, Klopp did mention it as well, that the performance was actually good. We were in the game until like 70 minutes. It was 1-1.
That's
We had
true.
a very good first half. We created chances. But what I thought was, I think we pretty much played to our max in that first half. That was as good as we could do. Whereas I felt City were pretty much in first gear. They knew they could just crank through the gears. And that's exactly what they did in the second half. And we had no answer. So at this point in time, we are miles off City. And that's just, I don't think anybody can deny that.
Yeah.
Most of the league is
circumstances.
miles up City, I feel.
Sure, but given how close these two teams have
Yeah,
been,
yeah, for sure.
it's hard to see, but there are extenuating
No, but
circumstances.
there is a pattern, right? As in, like City won the league and they dropped off last season. Liverpool won the league and now they are dropping off this season. So I just feel that like the sustainability of the style of play for both the teams is pretty hard to do that. As in, Pep relies on like constant creativity from whatever player he buys, and Klopp, as we have discussed before, is just a energy driven model in general. And yeah, probably it's just a model. Both models probably are something that is difficult to sustain, I feel. And yeah, it almost feels like you have to take that one season break to come back and perform at the highest level again.
But I think City's squad depth, right? It really shows how good
Yeah,
they've built the squad over years this season.
that's a very
Yep.
good
Like,
point.
yeah, right now we can see like Liverpool's case, right? We have Origi, who hasn't scored a goal coming off the bench since the Spurs winner in Champions League.
Mate, he should have gone 2 years ago. He should have
18
gone
months,
after the Champions
18
League
months it
final.
has been, and we keep bringing him on, hoping that he'll do it. But it's been like almost 18 months since he's made an impact. We've let Minamino go. Jota is injured. Hopefully he's back soon. Shaqiri, he's made a good impact, but he's still a squad player, right, in the end for us. So we seriously need some reinforcements in the summer, like to go neck to neck again with City.
Yeah, actually that
Yeah, it
was.
just feels like that is kind of against Klopp's philosophy to have like like squad depth. He does rely on
But I think
his
this
best
season should
11.
open
It's
his
not
eyes,
philosophy.
right?
It's,
Like
it's just our
great
owners.
things can happen, right?
It's just our owners. They are skint. They do not want to spend on filling out. Like basically, yeah, it's a very tight model, right? It's a very tight financial model. We've spent a lot of money on wages on a lot of these players. They just don't have the money because
I see.
this concept of Shaqiri, Origi, they should have gone for me in 2019. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita. Keita is good, but he's just not available enough. Matip. Like, this is the season where we really needed these guys to step up, and they've been nowhere to be seen, basically. And it's about time that, we start helping Klopp a bit more. This last couple of seasons, we didn't have a problem because the first team was pretty much played throughout. But you could see in the domestic cups, when we played our squad players, how bad we were. And that's kind of filtered into the league because we are having to play them more often because of all the injuries. So,
and I think no crowd also makes a very big impact to Liverpool personally, as in they thrive on that energy in Anfield.
Avinash, you mentioned the fact that you're saying that FSG didn't really invest in the squad. They did buy like about 5 players or something in the summer. So, I mean,
it's not 5 players, but 3 players. And it's 2 years too late. We won the Champions League in 2019 and signed Adrian. That's how mad this is. And you just had to make do with all these random options.
I get what you're saying, but you know what? The fact, I mean, FSG is not going to be like, oh, you know what? We're going to anticipate all your centre backs being injured.
It's not even about centre backs, Sheldon.
They've done a pretty decent job as far as investing the squad is concerned. I mean, I remember ranting about how like towards the end of the window, you guys went and bought you got Jota, you got Thiago. What are the other players they got and ended up getting? I think they were about 3 or 4.
Simikas. But here's this thing: we've been crying out for a backup left back. We've been crying out for backup forwards for 2 years now. It's
Jota
just
was your backup forward, and your left back. I mean,
why are Origi and Shaqiri still there? That's what I mean. But anyway, I think we should move on.
I think probably it's a good time to switch focus. Let Avinash and Purav take a breather and move to probably another disappointed fan, I guess. Rahul. It again looked like Arsenal were on a resurgence of sorts under Arteta, doing good. And now in the last 2 games, they suffered 2 losses, one of which had very, very controversial refereeing decisions. And I'll let Rahul share his thoughts about the 2 games and then probably other guys to chip in.
I mean, to be honest, the games themselves weren't that bad. I thought Arsenal did play good in both the games. And about like the controversial decisions, those were also sort of spanning both the games, if I'm being honest. I'll cover them in due time. But yeah, I feel like in both the games, there were definitely moments where Arsenal created a lot of chances, but it wasn't they didn't convert for whatever reason. Like the first game against Wolves, I think in the first half we created 3 chances. One was given offside, 2 against the woodwork. So we did create a lot of chances, and even in the ending stages with like 9 men against Wolves, we did create a fair amount of chances. So this sort of rolls back to the conversation that we were having last week, Avinash, where just creating chances isn't enough, taking them in and scoring goals is sort of important too, I feel. So, and I feel just switching on the same topic to the Villa game, we did create a lot of good chances in the Villa game. And just briefly talking about how organized Villa were to deny us the chances and sort of not let any goals in. Like their defense and the pressing on the players were pretty amazing. Like the way they closed Arsenal players, it was pretty nice. And like Tyron Mings had a pretty amazing game. Like he put in a few nice blocks, was preemptively sort of putting in all the tackles. So yeah, Villa overall I felt had a very nice game, and I thought that points lost were sort of much deserved rather than what we did for Wolves. Wolves, I definitely think, going back to the decisions, I feel we were definitely robbed of at least a point in the Wolves game. I don't know what you guys think, but I definitely felt after looking at like the replays, Luis it wasn't a red card. I mean, it was a penalty for sure. You touch a player, it goes down, and it definitely was a penalty. I have no two doubts about it. But a red card, I'm pretty sure it was like not a red card. And that the other thing was like it wasn't even overturned. Like when Arsenal appealed after the game for a straight red, like for the penalty to be reduced, it was not overturned. So that felt sort of wrong. And quickly before I ask you guys about it, but in the second game against Villa, I think in the second half, Martinez pulled Lacazette on a corner. Like he was
Yeah.
literally pulling a shirt, and VAR didn't do anything about it, man. Like, so where is that consistency? Like, and the
Yeah.
ball, it was not like ball was like far away from Lacazette. It was in like that central area where Lacazette was. So,
Vicinity.
I mean,
Yeah.
where is the consistency there, like in the calls? Like, Leno, fine, yeah, I don't know. It was probably a brain freeze moment from that was a red card. Fine, I get that. I'm not going to complain about it. But Luis's red card wasn't a red card in VAR, and post game also I felt it should have been overturned. And if those were the penalties, then why wasn't that Lacazette's penalty given? Like, I have no clue. Like, so yeah, I guess with what Avinash and Pura were saying earlier, VAR is not doing effectively anything. I feel like this, it's not even adding any additional dimension to the game. Like it's just sort of causing a lot of problems. So
Value.
yeah,
It's the referees, isn't it? It's the referees who are incompetent.
Yeah.
I guess that's the discussion
Yeah,
we were
as in
having.
I guess at the end of the day, it's still humans who are sitting behind the screen and making
but
bad
like
decisions.
Even the ones on the pitch, they're looking at the
right,
screen and
right.
making bad
Lewis's
decisions. So I
card,
don't
yeah, I
even know
don't
where
even
to go with
understand
this.
why was. I mean, I keep on hammering in the same point, but yeah, it was pretty mind-boggling to me.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I think it changed the game completely. As in, on top of the penalty, I think the you just like a man down. It was almost
Yeah,
difficult. And even after that, as you correctly said, like with 9 men, 10 men, 9 men, Arsenal looked in the game. As in, Wolves were pretty poor. I felt. As in
yeah.
the
Yeah,
second
that was
goal
like
was just like
almost like a goal of
one
season,
like
like contender nominations for a goal of the season. Like it was pretty
yeah,
amazing.
and it will only happen 1 out of 10 times. As in,
Yeah.
like otherwise it will like something or the other would not work out. But I definitely do agree with you that I don't see that being a red card. It was like a stupid
Yeah,
call,
absolutely.
just to ruin the game.
How
I think what's
many?
more weird is Bednarek's red card
Yeah,
was rescinded,
Yeah,
and Lewis they still
yeah.
kept
Two
it. Like
checks as well.
I don't get that part more. I felt like if Bednarek
yeah. I
was
think this I definitely feel that there is an element of reputation with
yeah
players that as in, and that's very difficult to remove, as in these biases do happen, as in we know that like players like Sterling or Salah or like they are considered to be quote unquote diverse, and uh,
I mean,
I don't know
Louis
how do
also,
you remove
yeah,
those
that
biases.
might be
And
true.
yeah,
I
That
it's
have a
Louis
and
might
Louis,
also
question.
come in with that reputation. Like he has got like what, 4 red
yeah,
cards for just Arsenal right now, I think. So he also definitely,
I think it
yeah.
was
yeah, Sheldon.
quick question for you guys on VAR. Would you guys prefer to have like a black and white system, or would you guys have a system where you give referee that the on-field referee a chance to make what he feels is right? Which one would you
There's
prefer?
It's just the nature of you can't have some decisions. Some decisions are just not black and white by nature, right? So it's going to be difficult.
Mhm.
Which is kind of what they're trying to do with the offsides. They've tried to make it black and
Yeah.
No,
white,
but
and
have
we've
some
seen what's
black and
happened.
white, then it's not open for contention
But
then, right?
well,
You know what I'm trying to
like
say?
offside decisions, yeah, sure, that you can sort of create a math problem out of it, solve for the equation, and get your result and be consistent throughout. I mean, how good is that? But fine. But these like fouls and
I'm
calls, I don't feel it's.
Yeah, it's common
Yeah, I
sense,
don't.
right? At the end. There are
Yeah,
some things which when you see a large
yeah.
number
As
of
in,
people saying a certain thing, you would think there is some merit to that.
I
And
yeah.
over the
In
period
fact,
of
like just the rule, right? Like about how if you went for the ball, you get a yellow card, but if you don't go for
It's
the
a
ball,
red. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
and
it's a red.
it just like the rule on paper itself is flawed, I feel.
that's also
yeah
true. Yeah,
that's
there's a lot of laws which
Maybe.
probably need amending. It's becoming a lot. I think before VAR, we could just let these things go because it
Yeah,
was all happening in very quick time, and you could sort
yeah.
of give referee some leeway. But
Human error.
Yeah, with VAR, there's just been a lot more focus on the refereeing and the laws as well, because we're finding out that some of these laws are just not.
And one quick point, sorry, I wanted to mention this. Like in almost all the other games, like for example in cricket and even I think in rugby, the conversation with the VAR referee is something that happens, that it is heard to the audience. I feel like I've heard I think we've talked before about this, that like either referees should have a post-match conference and be accountable for their actions, or these conversations should be
Publicly,
available to the audience to hear
Audible,
as to what are they
Thinking,
talking, what the hell are they talking about, and how are they coming to these decisions. As in,
Yeah.
there's some
Like
sort of
American
accountability,
football.
because in cricket, like even in cricket, for example, like in DRS, you hear the
Yeah,
third
what
umpire
he's
and the umpire talking,
thinking, yeah.
and in that case, if the third umpire screws up, he's very easily accountable for his bad actions. Then,
True.
so I feel that that is definitely needed in a way.
I think they have it in soccer in Australia. There was a video doing the rounds on Twitter. It's basically the same thing. They basically relay the entire conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these referees, they're just not good enough. Like, the bottom line is that, right? They
Yeah.
keep on making
Yeah.
mistakes. There's no incentive for them to make good decisions, because they know even if they make a bad
Nothing is going to
decision,
happen.
they'll
Yep.
be there refereeing the next game, or they'll be in
No
the
review the
VAR.
next game.
There's
Yeah.
no accountability there. Like Mike Dean, right?
Yep.
2 back-to-back games, his red cards, the decisions that he gave, right? They were overturned by the independent panel. Then there won't be any fallout of this. Like, we'll see Mike Dean in 2 weeks' time refereeing and screwing up another game, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they have that autonomy, they have that power, they control the narratives.
Yeah.
Mike
And
Dean
they
is
like that,
becoming
right?
like Steve Buckner.
They read in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. VAR is just highlighting the incompetency. Like even after all these images, they're still having to. The whole point of rescinding red cards is because you don't have the benefit of video, and then you go and look at
There
it
is 2
after the
times
game, and you
it
see
happens.
something
Yeah.
went wrong.
It took them 3 months. It took them 3 months to accept that VAR should have, sent off Pickford when Michael Oliver came out in
Oh,
Daily Mail
don't
and
even
wrote.
get me started on that.
It took them
Because
3 months to come to that conclusion, and be
Yeah.
transparent about it. There's no hope with the way this
That's true.
governing body is.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. And yeah, it's like the Premier League is the best league in the world, and like just I think we touched upon this also. There's not a single referee that qualified for World Cups, right?
Yeah.
Like from England.
There should be, like, the managers, right? They should make some noise on getting the best referees from all across the world, right?
They'll
We have
probably
the best
be
foreign
told to shut
players,
up
best managers,
and
foreign
stop mourning.
managers. We employ the foreign pundits also. Then I don't see the argument against it. Like,
Yeah.
the standard of officiating is so bad this season, right? It's like, I think Carragher said, like, the VR has highlighted the incompetency of the referees.
I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
VR
true.
is not even like adding a dimension to the game. I felt like earlier without VAR, like whatever the referees made decision on, like on field, it was sort of adding some element of like randomness to the game. Like, sure, there were bad decisions and all, but VR is not creating any good decisions anyways. So might as well not have that and just sort
Yeah,
of.
and even the implementation, right? As in, it just breaks the
Yeah,
flow of the game.
exactly. I don't
And
like that.
like one thing I'm super scared of is that the delayed offside calls. As in, I just feel a bad injury is like around the corner. As in, there is going to be that stupid slide tackle to, and there is going to be a bad injury, and it really has to be fixed.
No, but
They're
like
basically
the
waiting for
UEFA, right?
things to happen before they go back and look at them. That's what it looks like to me at this
Yeah.
point in time. But anyway, I think we should park
I
discuss it
actually
in some other way.
want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, Avinash. I just want. I mean,
No, no.
we've been talking a lot on VAR. We kind of diminished
About
the
us.
conversation on Arsenal.
Yeah,
I just want
sorry.
to know,
Let's-
like, what I was going to get at was like, yes, Arsenal had I think they had a series of like 3 or 4 games which they won on the trot, and now they're back to, albeit it was VAR or what. They've lost 2 games, 2-3 games, I suppose. Where does that leave Arteta? Like, he can't go into the dressing room and be like, you know what, we lost this game because of VAR. Like, how does he lift his players up for the next,
I'm,
few
like I'm
the
sure
next
that
games?
I feel like it's the players' morale is not that bad. Like if you see the game against Villa, like after having like 2 players sent off, it didn't feel like a team who had lost confidence against Villa. like they were playing pretty nicely. In fact, I was just about to say, like, I think even after Leno got dismissed, I felt Runnerson did a good job. He put in a couple of good saves, and Matt Ryan had an amazing game against Villa. Like, he pulled off a few saves. I think one was against like Grealish in the Villa game. It was pretty amazing. So I feel like it didn't even matter like that game. So I don't feel morale is a problem currently in the Arsenal team. And I'm not saying that Arsenal players will hide behind the VAR calls to sort of justify their bad sort of run of form. So yeah, I really don't feel like Arteta needs to do something drastically different to pull up the players. I think he still has the dressing room
And
Should
and what
Arteta?
about this? What about his decision of bringing Willian
dude, I
on?
don't
I
know.
was shocked at that decision. Is it almost feels like there is something
Yeah,
in his contract
I
that he has
mean,
to play
so I was
if
just I
he's
was
fit.
just thinking about it, like when Avinash and Pura were talking about Oxlade Chamberlain. I was just thinking like, oh yeah, good riddance, thanks guys for taking him. So I think again, like what comes around goes around kind of a thing.
You
Like we
can't, you
get
can't even say
Willian
that.
good.
You're like a
no. I'm
retirement
just
home
generally saying like,
for Chelsea
yeah,
players
I mean, you
especially.
hope that a player sort of will pick up good like in your team, but it doesn't happen. And yeah, I'm also sort of shocked at why Arteta is persisting with. I think Sheldon sent me sort of a stat where
Yeah,
I think just Willian has one shot on target this whole season. I'm like, oh my god, like I
in 14
yeah,
hours
I mean,
of play
one,
time, so
like we
it's
discussed this,
ridiculous.
like I think in like late November or some video we talked about it, like he had zero. So I mean, it's technically progress, but yeah, it's, yeah. So I mean,
100%.
I don't know.
Do you think Arteta should go?
You're
Yeah,
holding on
I know.
straws
But
now.
yeah, I'm shocked at why Willian is playing. I keep sort of, I maintain my uh, stance over Willian not playing in the team. So I feel like, yeah. And the other player I feel was Obama Yang. Like he's been missing again, I feel, after like he came back with whatever personal reasons that he was missing in the last two games. He was not even seen. Like if you look at the highlight reels, I don't think you will see much of him. So I hope that he sort of comes back, and I think that sort of ties nicely into the logic of like we were unable to convert a lot of chances, and he, if he sort of gets into the form of it, and I think he should sort of help us get those goals, and hopefully we are back on track.
Do you think Arteta
So
should
now
focus completely on Europa League now?
Europa.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like I think
I
we
hope
Yeah,
so.
progressed
yeah.
well. I think again we are at 11th position at the end of this like week of games. So I mean with to be honest, I don't know what should be done because there is a lot of sort of things going on in the league table itself. Like teams are losing games that they shouldn't lose. So it's still up for grabs. I feel like I think we're still there yet. I think it's still a bit too early to just put all our ducks inside Europa League. But yeah, I think if this thing continues, I think in a month's time or so, I feel Arteta has to make the call and just go all in for Europa and not worry about Premier League. Yeah, yeah, but
True.
yeah,
I guess
move on.
probably we
Yeah.
can move on. Uh, uh, I guess we are somewhat happy fans. Are probably the Manchester United
Yeah.
fans somewhat
Somewhat.
in this pool, right?
Ninth
Of
heaven.
fans
You
we
guys
have
are on ninth
in the
heaven.
panel. Ninth
Cloud
cloud
nine. Yeah.
nine, ninth
Yeah.
heaven.
Came back down a little bit,
Yeah,
about six
But
levels,
Yeah.
but
that game was good for the
yeah,
fans though. But anyways,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
so
the neutral fans.
I'll let Sheldon start of what Manchester United last two games against Southampton and Everton, and I probably will chip in and feel
Thanks,
free to chip
Nisarg.
in.
So yes, we did start off. I mean, the midweek game against Southampton. I mean, I would have just liked to have just gotten a proper win. That was, but to actually score nine without conceding a goal and keeping a clean sheet, that was definitely something we would cherish. Because we had improved our goal difference significantly. I think we are we? I think we are like we've scored the most goals in the league as of now. I think that is how it
Yeah,
is right.
that's true.
of
But we have
Although
conceded quite a lot
we
as well.
have
49 goals and 30
yes,
goals conceded.
exactly. We've
Okay.
conceded a lot of it.
Highest in the top half, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Highest in the
More
top
than
10.
Burnley.
So if we were to consider ourselves in isolation, our attacking our attackers are probably we have like the whole championship winning team going on, and then on the defense side we've got the whole relegation team going on. So it's like a internal battle right there, which is not going to end very well in that sense. But coming back, I mean, I don't spend too much time on the Manchester United and the Southampton game just because we won it convincingly. There were the first, I mean, the first red card that Yankovic got, that was well deserved. But that kind of
I am surprised that McTominay came out and
oh
not injured.
yeah, I was actually, but the guy is a
Yeah,
fighter.
I was fearing the worst, that it is going to be some sort of like a bone break or something.
Yeah, that was a leg breaker.
He got him on the fleshy part
Exactly.
in the
Yeah,
thigh,
yeah.
as opposed to muscle or bone, I think. So that he got away
He
with that.
got on the fleshy part. I mean, I'm just glad, like, there were marks and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was just glad that it didn't pierce the skin or anything. So so glad on that fact. The second red card, we've already touched upon it. Bednarek. I mean, he I don't know if you watched the footage after he's like leaving towards the tunnel. He's like, Martial said that it was not a foul. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a foul. I mean, he didn't intend to trip him, but he kind of did. So I mean, I don't know how to call that. Yes, you can give that a. I mean, I wouldn't call it a red, obviously, but it is kind of a foul in that sense. So which ended up in a penalty, and it was good to see most of our attackers pretty much being on the score sheet. It was finally good to see Bruno, getting increasing his goal and assist tally as well. So great game, 3 points, happy fan. Then next stop.
Can I add one quick side
Sure, go ahead.
factoid? I think, I'm not sure, but I think on FPL Bednarek would have the lowest score ever recorded.
-7.
Minus
Yeah.
7.
There was a
So
-7.
Yeah, it's 9 goals conceded, a
Oh,
red
yeah.
card,
own goal, right?
and an own goal.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
right. Yeah, that's true.
So
Like,
I
just
was
think
like,
of a person who has
I
triple
remember
captained him.
like we have a friend in our league who had Bednarek, and he was the
Oh,
only player. So his score tally on that day was -7.
Oh my
shit.
God.
That was terrible. I mean,
Anyways, sorry to break
no,
it.
that's actually a really interesting factoid. I'm glad you shared it. But moving on to the Man United Everton game, which kind of gets my
Blood boiling.
blood boiling, because we start, actually, you know what, I keep complaining that we don't start off games really well. We started off this game pretty well. We had everything. We were winning the balls. We were kind of attacking. We had Pogba, and McTominay kind of controlling the pace, the tempo of the game and stuff like that. Unfortunately, he got a thigh injury, I think around the 37th minute, which I don't know. It could have played it could have made a difference, but in the overall result, but maybe it wouldn't have. But the fact that we were 2-0 up, and to concede 2 goals, and then on back to back, which was kind of, I don't know like what is going on. Like we seem to be we keep conceding goals. I don't know. I keep saying that Maguire and Lindelof are not the best defensive partnership. But then you throw in David De Gea into the mix. I mean, it's just like a recipe for disaster in that sense. I mean, De Gea on 27 million. He should be the best goalkeeper in the world, but he's got so many weaknesses in him. Like he's not the strongest when he's coming to punch the ball or gather the ball from corners. Or he's a great shot stopper. He's probably the best in the world when it comes to that. But his ball distribution is also kind of questionable at times. So in that sense, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if Henderson should be brought in for him, but something needs to be done. I don't know. I feel like that game could have still be won if we had Bailly on that field, because for that last goal, which Maguire calling out offside when he himself was playing the entire team onside
Everton
over
team.
there, like how do you do that? Like God, you're on camera. he played the end, and it's so shitty because it was past the 4 minutes. I was like, you know what? Oh, you know what? It's the last. They're probably going to block the ball or something like that. There's no way Everton's coming back and scoring that goal. But out of nowhere, Calvin Lewin decides to work his magic and get that last goal and screw things up. It's weird because this is a repetition of the whole Leicester game. We conceded a goal in the dying minutes of the game. Not only that,
Mhm.
I don't know why Ollie tends to do this. Like, I don't know. It probably is common sense to bring on a center back right at the very end to kind of shore up, but it has always backfired. And it's funny because Tuan Zebi was brought in the Leicester game, and he was also brought in the Everton game. The guy's been getting so much of hate online, like a lot of
Yeah.
racist remarks and stuff. So
This is
I really feel bad for him, but I don't know. I
just
feel like
one note here. Yeah, this is very similar to, I don't know, Purav, if you remember, Klopp kept bringing Matip on at times towards the end of games to go to a back three, and we
Yeah.
always concede when that happened. When you're
what
trying to manage games towards the end, so it reminded me of that a
no,
little
no.
bit.
What did you guys do though?
No, we just bring Matip on similarly to say
No,
They
no,
got
but
Van Dijk.
no.
They
What?
got Van Dijk.
Oh, okay.
they got what?
They
You
got
guys
Van
did not.
Dijk to solve that problem.
Oh, right. No, sure, yeah, slightly different. Yeah, go on.
But I mean, at the end, I mean, it's obviously we can talk about transfers and stuff, getting in new players and stuff. But you know what? Special mention to Bruno. You know what? The guy is complete flair. I mean, the goal he scored was nothing less than Cantona-esque.
Or
Uh,
more Beckham-esque actually, but sure.
there was a lot of. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos of Cantona and
I
him.
saw that one. I
The
saw that
aim
little
shot
ding.
is very similar in which he waited and then he took the shot. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Beckham must have taken similar shots from outside the box as well. But the guy is amazing. I mean, the guy has. I think he's managed to get goals. I think he's probably had goals and assists in every game he's played so far. So he's right there. He's been the driving force. And if we want to be in contention of winning the league or putting any sort of pressure on Man City, he's going to be very important. Not to mention Cavani, who's I think is going to be our go-to guy when it comes to as a central striker. I think he offers so much more than Martial in upfront with his runs and all. I think during one of the during the Southampton game, he even told Rashford how to make those runs in order to get his goals and stuff. So would like to give him lots of praise as well. Nisar, do you have anything else? Sorry, I kind of hogged that.
No, I think just like you have mentioned, like I think Cavani being there is a great influence. As in, to be very honest, I did not expect him to become like the most important striker in our team. I always thought of him as a backup, but it clearly is proving out like, yeah, as in you can see what experience does. And it is kind of funny how Glazers in their two different teams went with experience and players who might have passed their best time, like by buying Tom Brady for the Buccaneers and by buying Cavani for Manchester United. So let's see if Tom Brady can win the Super Bowl. Probably Cavani signing can win us the league.
Oh my
Well,
God! No, that would be a nice
Being
Europa League
romantic
maybe,
again.
yeah.
Ibrahimovic wasn't able to do it, so
Or the FA Cup.
Ibrahimovic was one of
yeah.
them for sure. But yeah, as in, but yeah,
It's a lot.
I think the Everton game like just pointed out, like I don't blame De Gea to be very honest a lot, but I just pointed out the defensive problems that everyone has been speaking about, and I don't think so there is any solution to it. And there is a reason why no rival fans consider Manchester United to be serious contenders, and I think that reason is pretty evident. And I think offline we Avinash and myself had this discussion about how probably Bruno just being on more of the attacking front and not being like a CM is not helping the cause defensively also. And like my opinion is I think we probably still want him to do all the attacking bit. It is just that we need a bit better centre back to cover for stupid mistakes. And we will be open at times. I'm pretty sure we will be open at times. But it is just that, like, instead of considering 3, we might consider 2 or 1. Isn't that is how I look at it. But I feel like even Ole after the game sounded like the title pretty much, his title run is kind of not there unless like City magically just starts dropping points, which I don't see happening. But yeah, in general, like, it felt like Everton game definitely felt like a loss after the brilliant win in Southampton. So yeah, let's see what we can pull off in the next game. Yeah, definitely going for the cup tournaments might be a good like having a trophy. I think is absolutely vital now in the season.
I don't think I've ever celebrated an Everton goal as much.
I hated myself for it.
Like that. I'm like, finally, someone.
Yeah, actually, even the first 2 goals, it came out of
Nowhere.
I didn't expect
Came
that.
out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, as in the first half, we were completely dominant. I think Ancelotti's diamond was not working at all. The midfield was complete, and I was like, okay, finally we have a game. Like, again, Southampton was like that, but again, you have to obviously consider that it was 10 men. Not taking anything away from United, but I was like, please just close the game at 2-0. Like, just like don't concede, and then stupid thing happens, and like, okay, there we go again.
It's the trickiest scoreline, especially in the Premier League. 2-0 is
Yeah,
literally the worst scoreline because it's just one goal and suddenly you're sort of tense. And even though 2-0 it can make you a little complacent, but at the same time, if the opponent gets one goal, then suddenly the momentum shifts, and it's just a horrible scoreline.
And especially it was annoying after like getting the 3rd goal. Like, we came, like, it was not like Everton were dominant throughout. They literally, I think Everton had 3 shots on target and they scored 3 goals.
Taking the chances.
That's it.
Key.
Taking their chances.
They had 6 chances, and we had like I think 15 of them. So
yeah.
We weren't clinical enough, and they were definitely were.
And I truly live by the saying that, as in probably like attackers get you goals, but I think defenders do get you titles. And it's proving out in different teams, like in Liverpool as well, as in probably even like with all the attacking power. I think if your defense is not sorted, you can't. And City is a classic example. They didn't have their defense sorted for the first half of the season. Now they have it sorted, and it feels like they are probably going to win the title again.
But I think De Gea is in decline. I feel like for the last 18 to 24 months, he has made lots of mistakes.
Why didn't United sell him when he had a
still
chance?
Comes up with like brilliant saves, no doubt, but his consistency has been pretty much down.
Yeah.
Like I don't think United will win the league with De Gea or even compete with De Gea as a goalkeeper from now. I think United seriously need to think about upgrade or maybe give Henderson a run this season, like in Europa League or in FA Cup, at least to bed him, prepare him for the next season.
It's the style of play, right? I mean, I'm guessing Solskjaer wants to play, which is the way everybody wants to play nowadays, which is progressive, high line, all of that. If you're going to play that, I just do not see De Gea being a viable option because he lacks the skills required for modern goalkeepers nowadays. Ability to play the ball, basically the sweeping up, being able to hold a high starting position, all of that. So, I think I felt the same way about signings of Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, to be honest. Even though they seemed like good signings on the face of it,
who says
it didn't seem to. It's
not on the face
not
of
be
it.
the case now, but but it didn't suit the style for me. Even at the start, I remember thinking that Maguire is slow and Bissaka is not the best in the attacking third, right? So, but I mean, I guess that's where we'll go into the whole director of football argument and all that. So we'll probably leave that for another day.
No, like, to be very honest, I think Wan-Bissaka signing was still the right one. It is just that we never signed a right winger. We never did. Now we are hoping that Wan-Bissaka does what a right winger also should have done. And not like Robertson and Trent probably are exceptions to the left back, right back rules. And having said that, I feel like Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka this season have been probably the most improved players in
Luke Shaw's
the
been
United
brilliant.
shirt.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw has been the best left back in the league for me this season.
I do want to add though that Van Bissaka, when he was brought in, I mean, we thought that the reason why he wasn't playing, he wasn't scoring that many. I mean, putting in a lot more crosses at Crystal Palace was because of, I think he had Zaha or Townsend in front of him, so who kind of were really good when it came to crossing the ball and creating chances. The thing about Van Bissaka, he was a right winger that was developed into a right back. So we were hoping that he had that in him to kind
Valencia
of
style.
to put those crosses in. Yeah, sort of
Valencia type.
Valencia
Yeah.
style. Yeah, but I think I don't know if what's being taught on the ground, or he's trying to be very careful as to not give the ball away. But I feel that in the last 2-3 games, I've seen him actually put in some really good crosses. He's not. He's taking more chances and being less cautious when it comes to passing. So just wanted to highlight that. As far as um, De Gea goes, I think the thing is he is on massive wages. It's going to be very, very difficult to move him unless PSG come in with a massive amount of money, like about
I
50
think
million or
like
something.
United have lost the window of selling De Gea. I don't think bigger teams will come
Yeah.
in now.
It might be difficult
He's a
now.
fax machine. Blame it on the fax machine.
No. But the thing is, goalkeepers have a pretty long career. He's what just
No,
he's
I'm
what
just
in
saying
his
like
early
the
30s.
value that United might
So,
have got from him like a couple of years back. That's I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's just
Yeah, for
about
sure.
mitigating all the wages that he's earning, then yeah,
The
sure, then
wages.
it's easy to get
Yeah.
him off the book. But yeah,
Yeah.
But usually goalkeepers on Sheldon's point, right? Goalkeepers usually tend to mature a bit late, but I think
but De
Daga's
Gea,
Exactly.
yeah,
peak
Exactly.
was
exactly. De Gea already picked.
from
Yeah,
2013 to 2017. And like
Yeah.
for the last at least 2 years, I've seen a stark decline compared to those peaks. That's why I felt United, they might not be able to, challenge successively in like next coming years with De Gea.
I
Mm.
I share slightly different viewpoint. I do think that he's not the best goalkeeper around, but I feel like if we do have like two strong centre backs who have leadership qualities, something similar to what Van Dijk possesses, I think we could still win the league with those two centre backs. And because I think what a lot most, like for example, when we had Van der Sar, we had leadership at the back. With De Gea, he's not a really outspoken
Yeah.
goalkeeper. He does not possess that leadership to actually tell people, "Oh, you need to be here to." He
Yeah. He
doesn't
doesn't.
direct
He
people.
definitely doesn't command his box for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something we miss that figure, and I think that's something you guys also miss at the back when it comes to telling people like come behind and defend or go direction. I think leadership in the form of Van Dijk, you need to have that throughout your spine. We have that with Bruno and Cavani. We do not have it at the back. That's what.
And that's where probably it's more important because that's where you can see the
Yeah.
game. Backline, defense. That's basically your spine, right? Your
Yeah,
goalkeeper,
exactly.
centre
Your
back,
spine.
DM,
Yeah.
and all those areas are probably upgradable for Man United right now.
Yep. I
Anyway,
think
yeah, I
we
think we
should.
should
move on.
We
move
are
on.
pretty much. Yes.
So I just had a word on Chelsea. Yeah, I think they are awfully close now. They're 1 point behind Liverpool, and I'm worried about them. I'm not going to lie. Out of all the so-called challengers for the top four, I mean, we have Everton, West Ham, Tottenham. I feel like Chelsea are probably the one who we need to worry about the most. Because, yeah, I mean, Tuchel, as I see it, tactically what he has done, the problem that Lampard had, I felt like he was pressured into fitting as many attackers as possible into the system
Yep.
at the
Yep.
cost of balance. But it seems
Yeah.
like Tuchel has gone, he just said, okay, I'm going to do, we often spoke about the back five, front five thing,
Yeah.
right? And how that provides the
Yeah.
most stable base for a team to attack. And that seems to be what he has done. He's gone with the three at the back. His wing backs he has naturally attacking wing backs. He's played Hudson-Odoi there. And because he's got not that many midfielders, he said he'll go 3+2 as opposed to 2+3 at the back.
Yeah.
And then he's basically rotating the attackers in the front three. So it's a pretty simple thing that he has done, but given how bad it was before.
Do you think it is very very similar to what Conte did when he came to
Yeah.
Chelsea? Like I remember like how suddenly Alonso and Azpilicueta became
Right.
like the providers in the team.
Yep.
Moses. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
sorry.
Azpilicueta was playing at the right centre back,
Yeah. My bad. You're right.
which is
Yeah.
what he's doing now as well.
Moses.
But yeah, your overall point is right.
Yeah, it feels like it's just going back to the style that they did good with and sticking with it. As in, I don't think so. He has reinvented the wheel. He just took Chelsea a couple of years back. I feel that's pretty much what he has done.
Yeah, although I wouldn't really put Tuchel and Conte in the
Yeah, I
same
don't see
bracket at all in
Tuchel.
terms of philosophy. But yeah, I think he's probably decided that that's what works given the squad that he has. I think given the midfield that he has, that's the key.
Yeah, I think I was mainly referring to the squad, like given that like there's Jorginho and Kante and
Right.
like just using the best of what is available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough to play midfield and sort of go ahead, sir.
The fact that you mentioned that they've kind of taken them back kind of brings me to a really important stat that he is one of the only Chelsea manager after Jose to have had 3 clean sheets after joining. So yeah, first 3 games. So
And Chelsea has won the Champions League when they had a interim manager or like manager mid-season.
yeah.
They've had a few, I think. That seems to be
Even
the Chelsea.
Rafa, right? Europa League.
Oh yeah.
Rafa.
But then they also had good
Whenever they sack managers, every team needs to watch out. Like they are the team to be worried about.
Yeah.
Not Leicester, not Villa or anyone. Yeah, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea have a very good chance of
seeing,
getting top.
Yeah, we're not even seeing the best of Pulisic. We're not seeing the best of Werner. We haven't seen the best of Havertz so far.
Yeah.
We have not seen Havertz.
Yeah, Tammy has been in and out, like so many out of form players, and they're still winning games, keeping clean sheets. I think the best is yet to come for Chelsea. It's a scary thought.
Dude, Havertz, we have Messi, Lingard. He switches teams and he still scores more goals than Havertz.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it just takes time for players
EPL
to
is a totally different ball game. I
get their
feel
foot in.
like the physicality and everything. Like the players need to definitely get more used to it.
Yeah.
We have a proof with Minamino as well.
Oh.
I read a
Let's
meme
not-
that
don't
like
get us
Minamino
started on
found the
that.
best route to get into the Liverpool team by playing for Southampton.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
look at the finish, right? Like the first touch to take the ball away and on his left foot, top bins, like
Two goals, 2 starts, 2 goals.
yeah.
It's just been for different teams. It's incredible that he didn't get a single minute when we couldn't buy a goal. It's unbelievable, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember Pura when you screaming and shouting about that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Guys,
do you guys have anything else to cover?
I was just going to ask you guys. I mean, we spoke about Chelsea. Should we talk about Man City and parting thoughts like?
Just give them the title now.
I mean, is there a twist, or is this how it's going to end up?
Yeah. I think
Especially after
we
meeting
discussed this, and I think I said Liverpool, but I don't. After this week, I feel
De Gea and Becker gave Man City the title. I feel.
Yeah.
I think especially after beating Liverpool, like I remember when they beat us 5-0, that was the start of that incredible run that they went on in 17-18.
Yeah.
And beating us at Anfield, the way they beat us, it's a hoodoo that's kind of...
Without De Bruyne and the strikers, right, as Nisar said.
Yeah, without Aguero, without De Bruyne.
Strikers, without De Bruyne, their best player.
I think they're just going to go to a different level now after beating Liverpool. I
I
can
just
just see
hope they
that.
don't win Champions League. Like if City wins Champions League,
Oh, man.
I hope they don't get Haaland.
Or they are in FA Cup. They can win pretty much everything this year.
FA Cup, I think only United and Chelsea are there, right? In FA Cup, Liverpool are out.
Yep.
Arsenal are out.
Yep.
Tottenham are there, yeah. Mourinho.
That's all. Tottenham are basically going for the cup treble
Yeah.
that we did in 2001. Europa League, FA Cup.
Jose will again get 3.
Oh my God. Just needs an excuse.
Yeah.
Anyways, if nothing, then we can probably end the video. It was a slightly long video again, two game weeks. It takes time. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And see you next week. Bye.